Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us today. Today we'll be studying Srimadbhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 66. Paundraka, the false Vāsudeva. Let's get started with Jai Radha Madhav prayers. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajanaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Canto Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. So today we'll be studying Srimadbhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 66, Paundraka, the false Vāsudeva. And if you do have any questions, please ask in the comment line. So at the end of the class, we'll be addressing those questions. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Mudiriyet
Tato Jayamudirye
Shravtam Swakatha Krishna
Shravtam Sakatha Krishna
Punya Shamana Kirtanaha
Punya Shravana Kirtana
Hridayantasto He Bhadrani
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani
Vidunoti Suhatsatam
Vidunoti Sahratsatam
Nashtaprayeshu Bhradeshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttamaḥ-śloke
Bhagavate Uttamaḥ-śloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
Hare Krishna. So please join us in the recitation of the first verse of Srimadbhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 66. Verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shukuvacha
Nanda Vrajam Gate Rame
Nanda Vrajam Gate Rame
Karushadi Patirnapa
Karushadi Patirnipa
Vāsudeva Hamityagyo
Vāsudevo Ahamityagyo
Dutam Krishnaya Pahinot.
Dutam Krishnaya Prahinot.
Please.
Shri Shukuvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Nanda Vrajam Gate Rame
Nanda Vrajam Gate Rame
Karushadi Patirnipa
Karushadi Patirnipa
Vāsudevoham ityagyo
Vāsudevaham iti agyo
Dutam Krishnaya Pranihnot
Dutam Krishnaya Prahinot. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukuvacha
Shukdev Goswami said,
Shri Shukdev Goswami said
Nanda
Nanda
of Nanda Maharaj,
of Nand Maharaj
Vrajam,
Vrajam
to the cowherd village,
to the cowherd village
Gate,
Gate
having gone,
Rame
Lord Balaram,
Lord Balram
Karusha Adhipati,
Karusha Adhipati
the ruler of Karusha Paundraka,
the ruler of Karusha Paundraka
Nripa,
Nripa
O King Parikshit,
O King Parikshit
Vāsudeva,
Vāsudeva
the Supreme Lord Vāsudeva,
the Supreme Lord Vāsudeva
Aham,
Aham
I,
I
Iti,
Iti
thus thinking, Agyaha,
Agya
foolish, Dutam,
Dutam
a messenger,
a messenger
Krishnaya,
Krishnaya
to Lord Krishna,
to Lord Krishna
Prahinot,
Prahinot
sent. Hare Krishna. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, O King, while Lord Balaram was away visiting Nanda's village of Vraja, the ruler of Karusha, foolishly thinking, I am the Supreme Lord Vāsudeva, sent a messenger to Lord Krishna. Purport. Since Lord Ram had gone to Nandvraj, Paundraka foolishly thought that Lord Krishna would be alone and therefore easy to challenge. Thus he dared to send his crazy message to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshtarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful chapter, not just because of its blessing, but it has amazing lessons that we should take to. And of course, in the last verse, Shukdev Goswami is speaking this Srimadbhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. And let's hear what he says in the last verse. Shukdev Goswami is revealing in the last verse the blessing of this chapter. So what is the blessing? The blessing is, any mortal who recounts this heroic pastime of Lord Uttamaḥ-ślokas, or who simply hears it attentively, will become freed from all sins. So, all sins. One can become free just by attentively hearing this pastime. So, such a wonderful blessing. So we will definitely, cover the pastime, at the same time cover the essential purpose which reveal the amazing lessons. So it is not just that we are, reading through Srimadbhagavatam or we are just browsing through Srimadbhagavatam. We want to understand the essence of Srimadbhagavatam, and that essence is in the purpose given by various acharyas and disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives his purpose. Srila Jiva Goswami, he gives his purpose, revealing the secret behind every incident, every small happening, thus instructing us how to behave properly in this material world. When we are conditioned in this world and have been given this material body, then of course we understand everything that we have been given should be used in the service of Lord Krishna. But to be able to use, we need to hear how to use and what not to do, while what should be done. Yam and niyam, these are two important aspects, prohibitions and regulations. So here, the interesting aspect is King Paundraka, who is the king of Karusha. So Karusha was a great kingdom. He was a very powerful king. He foolishly thinks, Agyaya. So he is foolishly thinking that Lord Balaram is in Vrindavan. And so it will be easy to defeat Lord Krishna. So he sends his messenger to Dwarka. Now it is also very important what incites this sending of messenger. So it just so happened that Paundraka was also among the various demoniac kings who had gone to attend Shishupal's marriage with Rukmini Devi. Now, when he was there, all these kings, they were anticipating that Lord Krishna is going to do something, and they should be ready with their armies. So Paundraka, he had not just gone alone being invited, but he had brought his army and his generals and everyone. And being a very powerful king, just like Jarasandha, very powerful king, he was sure that if Lord Krishna or Lord Balaram tried to do anything, he would be able to teach them a lesson. However, he learned a lesson.
as soon as Rukmini Devi, she came down the stairs, and with her beauty and her smiling, showing her teeth and pulling her hair from her face, many kings, they fell down from the chariots, from their horses, from the elephants. Paundraka was one of them. And then by that time, Jarasandha shouted, "Alas, alas! See, the booty of a lion has been taken away by jackals." He's referring to Lord Krishna, who's taking away. Without caring for anyone, Lord Krishna took his chariot ahead and simply extended his hand, and Rukmini Devi held on to it and got onto his chariot, Lord Krishna's chariot, and he drove away. And right behind Lord Krishna was Lord Balaram with the army of the Yadavas. So with this army of the Yadavas, he stopped and defeated all the kings, including King Paundraka. Now King Shishupal, of course, became disheartened that his wife has been taken away and his would-be wife has been stolen away. So we learned the lesson, what goes around comes around. So he had kidnapped Lord Ram's, Shishupal was Ravan, right, in his previous birth, and Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Ramchandra. Rukmini, who is goddess of fortune, appeared as Sita. So Ravan had abducted Sita Mata, right, in Ramayana. When, in the absence of Lord Lakshman, who is now Balaram, and in the absence of Lord Ram. So when Ravan came to abduct Sita Mata, he had made sure that Lord Ramchandra is not there, Lord Lakshman is also not there. While here, Krishna Balaram, they are abducting Rukmini Devi right in front of all these kings with a clear declaration that this is what's going to happen. So everyone was anticipating it. It's not that it was all of a sudden. And Paundraka was shocked. He was such a powerful king with a great kingdom like Karusha, and he could not believe that Lord Krishna drove away with Rukmini. And just like many other kings who thought of enjoying, right, because of the beauty, they were so perplexed, they were so bewildered by the beauty of Rukmini Devi, because she is, the origin of goddess of fortunes. So Mahalakshmi, that's her form. So, looking at her beauty, everyone was thinking, oh, we get to enjoy her. So this is a mentality he had. Yet when his army was defeated, he was defeated by Lord Balaram and Yadava's armies. And he literally fled from the battlefield. Shishupal, Jarasandha, all of them, they fled. So the kings who fought there in that, arena, they attained heavenly planets because they were, as a Kshatriya, they were following Kshatriya Dharma. Yet Paundraka was very much disheartened. He had never faced defeat. So this is something, when someone faces defeat, they become really disheartened. They lose their interest. We saw how Jarasandha, when he was defeated by Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, and how many times was he defeated? 17 times. But every time he was defeated, he would become disheartened. He would decide to renounce his kingdom and everything that belonged to him. Yet at the same time, his associates, they would encourage him by saying that no, it was just by providence. Right now, the time is favoring Krishna and Balaram. So that's why you're losing. It's only by providence. It's only this time. So that's why it's happening. But, if you make another attempt, and so Jarasandha, when he was satisfying Shishupal, he's saying the same thing. It's only by providence that this happened. Remember, 17 times I was defeated by Krishna Balaram, but 18 times I defeated them. Not realizing that in this particular occasion, when Rukmini Devi was supposed to be, the bride, his 18 Akshahanis that he had brought to the marriage were destroyed. So finally they were destroyed. And the reason Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram ran from the battlefield, and Lord Krishna is glorified as Ranchor, because he wanted to protect the Brahmanas, the astrologers. Before leaving for the 18th battle with Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, Jarasandha had called all these astrologers in his kingdom. And he had said that if I don't win this time, I will kill all of you. So all these Brahmanas, they were praying. So Lord Krishna doesn't want even a single Brahman to be harmed. So to save the Brahmins' lives, he and Lord Balaram, ran from the battlefield. So that's glorious. So they are worshipped in Gujarat and Rajasthan. There are many temples where Lord Krishna is worshipped as Ranchor. Now, here, Paundraka is very much disheartened. While Jarasangh satisfied Shishupal, there was no one to console Paundraka. And his mentality is, Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita what his mentality is to Arjuna. Prakate kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimuddhatma karta ham iti manyate. Prakate kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha. So this material energy made of 3 modes of material nature is basically playing with us as puppets. The 3 modes of material nature are mode of goodness, sattva guna, mode of passion, rajoguna, and mode of ignorance, tamoguna. So these 3 modes are like, these material energies has bound. Guna also means ropes. So we are actually bound by ropes. And constantly following, just like puppet, the instructions of the 3 modes of material nature. And how is material nature influencing us? Because these senses are provided to us, right? So they are the agents. They are like the snakes that are constantly biting us. And so Paundraka, ahankara vimuddhatma kartahamiti manyate. However, being deluded by the material energy, which has, of the 3 modes of material nature, we living entities are deluded. So the soul is accepting this body as itself. So we are thinking that I am this body. And that is the delusion. And that's why the ego becomes false ego. Because it's thinking, I am this body, I have to protect this body, I have to satisfy this body. And the slogan becomes, eat, sleep and be merry. And such is the slogan is actually the cause of downfall. Because here, in ahankar, vimuddhatma, one is bewildered and thinks that I am the doer of all that is. I am the real doer. And not to talk about just materialists, sometimes even devotees, they think that I am such a great devotee. I am serving Lord so nicely. And Srila Prabhupada always identified and provided this instruction that we as devotees have to understand that we are just an instrument of Lord Krishna. So we have to act as a proper instrument. Right? A car is an instrument and the driver drives the car. If the driver wants to turn left, the car better turn left. What happens if the driver is turning left and the car turns right? It's not going to be a pleasant experience. The journey is going to be a haphazard journey and not a pleasant journey. So, we as living entities, Jivera Surupaya Krishnera Nitya, as an eternal summit of Krishna. So we should continue to act in a manner to satisfy Lord Krishna. Yet at the same time, because of the senses that we have received, we are following the injunction of the 3 modes of material nature, the influence of these 3 modes. And based on the different time of the day, based on our nature, so again, Chatuvarnam Maya Shisham Guna Karma Vibhageshaha. So again, Lord Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that the 4 Varnas are established by him. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So Brahman are in the mode of goodness, Sattva Guna. Vaishyas are, the Kshatriyas are in the mode of passion. Vaishyas are in the mode of goodness and passion, mixed mode. And Shudras are in a mode of ignorance. So Vaishyas are in the mode of passion and ignorance, while Shudras are completely in ignorance. So the 3 Varnas, they still follow samskar, and they are also called twice born, because they go through the samskar and initiation and so forth. And they all wear threads. So it's not that the Brahmana wear Janev, even Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. And the Shudras are one who serve all these. Of course, we can talk about at length what are their, because of their nature, what are the activities they engage in, what is their nature and so forth. But staying on this chapter, Paundraka is a Kshatriya. And as a Kshatriya, Kshatriya is, in the mode of passion, is looking for name, fame and glories. However, with this defeat, during Shishupal's wedding time in the hands of Yadavas and being scared away by Lord Balaram, he has given up all desire to continue as a king. He's a very powerful king, yet at the same time, he returns to his kingdom and he's not interested in ruling it anymore. So his advisors are worried, his ministers are worried, his populace is worried. How do we encourage him? So the advisors come up with a strategy. They say that let's start glorifying our king. So they start glorifying. So association matters, who we associate with. So they were glorifying, but he was not getting encouraged. They were glorifying his past activities and so forth. Then they started glorifying that actually you are Vāsudeva. Vāsudeva means, of course, expansion of Lord Krishna, who is expanded, who is present in everyone's heart as super soul and overseer and permitter, and even between atoms and spaces between in atoms and spaces between atoms. So that's Vāsudeva is another way of saying super soul, Shirodakshai Vishnu, who expands and goes even in the heart of living entity. What the size of a living entity is 10,000th of a tip of a hair, not the width of the hair. Sometimes people think of width, tip of the hair. Think of Himalaya. What is its footprint? That's like the width of the hair. But the tip of the hair, think of the tip of Himalaya. You can actually put your hands around it on the tip. It's such a small tip. So think in those terms, and that's the size of our size as living entities. And Lord Krishna can become so small, Shirodakshai Vishnu, that he can enter even in the heart of that living entity, in our heart, as super soul. As overseer and permitter, he resides in everyone's heart. So they start glorifying him. So this could be bewildering. They are saying that I am God. Paundraka is thinking, how could I be God? Now they give very nice logical reasons. So this is another scriptures where it's nicely described. They are saying, look at Lord Krishna. Means again, Krishna, Vāsudeva, who is using the term as Vāsudeva. His actual name is Krishna. He doesn't know that the expansions from Lord Krishna is Lord Balaram. From Balaram, the expansion is Vāsudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And these are the four personalities in Dwarka. He doesn't know that. So they are actually bewildering him by saying, actually his name is Krishna. And he was so scared of Kansa that he was residing in, Gokula and then in Vrindavan as a son of Nand Baba, Nand Maharaj, incognito. So the same reason that Lord Krishna had given in joking manner to Queen Rukmini are now being used by the advisors to somehow provoke Paundraka, King Paundraka, to start resuming his activities. But they didn't realize that the mode of passion can be very strong, mode. Kama isha, krodha isha, rajoguna samudbhava, mahashano, mahapapma. So it's like from lust, anger arises. So if you're successful, anger arises. If you're unsuccessful, anger arises. It arises nevertheless. And it is our greatest devouring enemy. So here, Paundraka starts believing them. Yes, he didn't have enough to eat, so he would go out in other cowherd men's homes and ladies' home, and they would steal butter. So Makhanchor, the whole philosophy has been turned around. So this is the way of materialist things. So it's very nicely given that, someone would think that, okay, Lord Krishna is going out hungry. Well, his mother, Yashoda, she's the queen of Vrindavan. Father, Nand Maharaj, he's Maharaj, right? He's the king of all the Vaishyas in Vrindavan. And the whole Vrindavan is known as Nandavraja, the cowherd village of Nand Maharaj. And even then, these advisors are hiding the truth and, trying to just encourage the king. And saying that Krishna has, taken this title of Vasudeva, but actually it belongs to you. You are Lord Vāsudeva. And so he's getting encouraged, and everyone's feeling that, okay, there is some recovery. Sometimes it so happens somebody becomes sick, and we give him little medicine. But that medicine has to be given in a prescribed dose with proper, instruction. And proper instruction means there must be a qualified doctor, a Vaidya, who should be prescribing and administering the medicine. And the medicine should be administered as per prescription. But out here, complete poison is being given to Paundraka just so that he can come back to life. Not realizing that actually it's poisoning him more than before. And so, Paundraka starts to become cheerful, thinking that he is Lord Vāsudeva. And they tried to narrate some of his chivalrous stories as how he was king of such a great kingdom. And Krishna, his kingdom, he had to actually hide away. He had to run away from Mathura. He gave up Mathura. And he is living in the middle of an ocean because he's so afraid of all these kings, and especially King Paundraka. So Paundraka starts feeling little rejuvenated, but actually it's poison he's being fed, not medicine. And so one of the lessons we hear is that we should be very careful who we associate with. Our association defines us. In Panchtantra, there is a very nice story that comes, that there was this man, he was walking and he had 10 of his friends, and his 10 friends decided that this guy Bhola, he is a very simple guy. So we cannot prove to him, we will make him agree that he has become a ghost. So as he was walking, one of his friends said, "Oh, you have become a ghost?" He's like, no, I'm not a ghost. I'm still alive. I'm well and okay. He's like, no, you have become a ghost. And he showed scared face and he ran away. Then, as he walked around on his path, suddenly he saw his another friend. As he greeted the other friend, his friend shouted, "Oh, you have become a ghost!" And then he ran away. So now he's contemplating what's really going on here. Third friend says the same thing in surprise and scared, in fearfulness. He's saying, "You have become a ghost, you have become a ghost," and then he runs away again. Fourth one does the same thing. Fifth one does the same thing. And by that time, the eighth one tells him, "Oh, you have become a ghost. You are not alive anymore, you have become a ghost." And he runs away. Bhola is thinking that I have become a ghost. Just like that, King Paundraka, he is constantly being fed. What? That he is Vāsudeva. Everyone is saying he is Vāsudeva. Morning, evening, every day, every time of the day. People are like worshipping him, that he is Vāsudeva. His populace is worshipping him because they are incited by fear. Who will maintain them if the king gives up his duties? But in that mood, suddenly they are going in the wrong direction because of the ill-hearted, foolish advisors who have spread this rumor that our king is the real Vāsudeva, Krishna is the false Vāsudeva. So in reality, Paundraka is the false Vāsudeva, but he is thinking that I am the real Vāsudeva. So in that mood, he feels like all great things should belong to me. So why is Krishna holding this Sudarshan Chakra? Why does he have, Sharanga bow? Why does he have this Sunanda sword? Why does he have this, Shankha, Panchajanya Shankha? Why is he holding the Padma? Why is he holding Kaudamukhi Gada? All of this belong to me. I am the king. So he is thinking in this manner. And in that mood, Paundraka, sends his messenger to Dwarka, to Krishna. Now it is very interesting that the advisors, they contemplate, when they went to Shishupal's wedding. So again, there is a lot of strategy. So even a person who is acting foolishly and even deriding God and thinking that I am God. So this is the mood of a materialist. Sometimes even the scientists, I am God. They say that. Sometimes even doctors say that in complete ignorance. And we all understand, means they are completely deluded. Maya apradgyanam, material energy has stolen away their intelligence. So that is, the mentality is like, I am God. So this is how he is thinking, I am God. So I should possess all these instruments. I am the one who is who should have all this. Now, being a very interesting strategist, the advisors advise him that actually Krishna, he picked up Rukmini and he ran away from, when he had gone to Bhishmaka's place, Vidarbha city. So it was Balaram who stopped you. And Balaram with the army of Yadavas fought with you. And it was Balaram who is very powerful. Now the good thing is, Balaram has currently gone to Vrindavan. So we talked about previous chapter, where Lord Balaram, he stayed in Vrindavan for 2 months. It is in his absence the messenger was sent. As soon as he heard that Lord Balaram has gone to Vrindavan, They thought, now Krishna is alone. And we can challenge Krishna and easily defeat him because he runs away from the battlefield. He's a coward. That's how they are thinking. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We understand why Lord is glorified as Ranchor. Yet at the same time, the advisors in foolishness and in their pure intelligence, they are thinking in this manner. This is a demoniac thinking, completely in delusion. Karta hamiti manyate, always thinking that I am the doer. Not knowing that Parisham Nishu, Lord Krishna reveals in Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in man. So he gives us the ability and they are misusing that ability they have been given. So thinking that Lord Balaram is away, Lord Krishna is alone, we can challenge and easily defeat him. All he is doing is because of the presence of his big brother. Sometimes this happens also, like, when the kids are bullying and they realize that the big brother always saves the younger brother, maybe when the big brother is away, we can capture this younger brother and beat him up. That's also some of the mentality as, kids may think. So sometimes in a bully program, anti-bully programs at the school, to reduce these bullies, teachers have to be very, very cautious because they are acting like big brothers, and the other side, the kids, the bullies, they are fearful kids. They have a horrible life back home. They are not happy with their life, and so they want to just make everyone else's life miserable. That's the mentality of a demon. And sometimes these demons come in the position of authority and then they make the whole world miserable. Why do I say that? Because once Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he was asking Srila Prabhupada, he said, Srila Prabhupada, why did Krishna create this material world, Dukhalayama Shashvatam? Srila Prabhupada rebuked him. He said, Krishna did not make this material world, Dukhalayama Shashvatam. You did. He was shocked. Then Srila Prabhupada explained what he means. It's because we living entities, thinking I am the doer, thinking I have to lord over this material nature, think I am Lord of all that pervades. In this delusion, in this foolishness, we create this material world as what it is, Dukhalayama Shashvatam. So their follow-up question could be raised. So if we made it Dukhalayama Shashvatam, how could this earth can become a Vaikuntha? How can all kind of kuntas, all kind of miseries vanish away? How can all kind of dukkhas, all kind of miseries, all kind of distress can be driven away? The answer was very simple. Srila Prabhupada reveals, only if 2% of the population becomes Krishna conscious, this planet Earth would become a Vaikuntha. Only 2%. He said 98% can stay asuras and non-devotees, doesn't matter. But only if 2% of population becomes devotees, which is a very easy target. Starts with us, right? We should become devotee and we should preach this message of Srila Prabhupada, of Lord Krishna. And through the scriptures, of course. Reading scriptures is one of the very good ways. So whatever capability we have, whatever ability we have, we should use it favorably. Anukulena Krishna Anushilenam. As Lord Krishna desires, following in the footsteps of Acharyas, taking shelter of their instructions. That's how we should continue to preach and also follow. It's not that we preach others and then we do something else. No, we need to actually first put it in our life. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj puts it very nicely. He says, you can preach all day and sometimes, if needed, you may speak a little. Right? So it is by our actions. Our actions speak louder than words. So our actions should be dovetail in Lord Krishna's service, Anukulena Krishna. So that's how we should be serving. So here, however, these advisors and the king, Paundraka, his advisors and himself, they are completely bewildered by material energy, thinking that they are the doers. And that if they challenge Lord Krishna, when Lord Balaram is away, then they will win over. And he will have all the insignia, all the paraphernalia as Lord Vāsudeva, because he really believes that he is Lord Vāsudeva. There was also a boon he had received from Lord Jiva, that he could take on a form that he desires. So that's another story, that's a long story. But just understand that Lord Shiva had given him a boon. So he uses that boon. He misuses rather. that boon. So here, this messenger comes, and Lord Krishna happens to be in the assembly hall of King Ugrasen at Dwarka. You know, the Sudharma assembly hall, where people would not feel 8 kind of distresses, 6 kind of distresses, including fatigue and, effect of old age and so forth. So in the Sudharma hall, this messenger comes and he says that I have a message from King Paundraka, the king of Karusha. So they say, please share. So on behalf of the king, he is reading the message that I am the real Vāsudeva, and Krishna, you have taken my title, you should give up this title and return me all my paraphernalia, all my weapons. So here, as soon as the message is over, and you should take my shelter. Again, the important thing is, he believes so much that in his message he says that Lord Krishna should take his shelter. So this is where sometimes in delusion, now this is, I'm just changing it to a little phase. Sometimes in the mind of a devotee, when they're thinking that they are a great devotee, the mentality changes in a very subtle manner. So there is sevaya, lordships. So as we serve as Brahman in the temple, the deities, so they are lordships. Srimadbhagavatam is also lordship, not different from Lord Krishna. So he appears in, he incarnates in 3 forms in Kali Yuga, in his holy name, in Archvigraha form, and as Srimadbhagavatam. So this is Lord Krishna. So we have to be very, very careful. And so he is basically challenging and he's saying, return me all my paraphernalia. And at that time, in the assembly hall, everyone starts laughing, including Lord Vasudeva's father, Vasudeva, as well as King Sursana. Everyone heartily laughs when they hear this. The one another meaning of Vasudeva is son of Vasudeva. So somebody could say, did Vasudeva from his 18th queen, did he have another queen from whom he begot Paundraka? That's not the case, but somebody could even raise that. There was a point that was raised, but then it was left as it is. So here, it's in the commentary. So here, Paundraka's messenger, his messenger has said this, and afterwards Lord Krishna says that tell your king that, he's basically advising the messenger, basically saying that he should give up this false thought. And if it does not, I will definitely throw my weapons. So he's giving my weapons, Lord Krishna is saying, and Acharya is revealed, he's saying that I will use, especially my disc, the Sudarshan disc, I will use it to kill him. And then his body will be a shelter of jackals and dogs and vultures, right? Eagles and so forth. So this messenger takes this message to his master, King Paundraka, in Karusha. And there he narrates this message, he repeats this message as it is. And at that time, Lord Krishna, he's not waiting for Balaram. He alone, he gets ready for the battle, he gets on his chariot, and with the soldiers he comes. He doesn't even have a full Akshauhini. Now King Paundraka, he is very intelligent, strategically, he is arranging things so nicely. He comes with 2 Akshauhini armies, and he sends his army before him. So this is another place. In the old times, in Vedic times, the king would lead the armies. But king of Karusha, King Paundraka, he is actually letting the armies lead ahead of him. He is following. And on his back, his friend, king of Kashi, Varanasi, he is coming with 3 Akshauhinis protecting. So king of Kashi is leading in his armies with 3 Akshauhinis. And Lord Krishna with some of his Yadava soldiers, he is coming on his chariot. And as soon as they come face to face, Lord Krishna and King Paundraka, Lord Krishna is amazed. He starts laughing. Why? Because he sees that King Paundraka is on a chariot and the flag of the chariot has a sign of Garuda. So he really thinks that he is Vasudeva. Next he sees is that this king has a four-arm form, imitated of course, and is holding a conch that looks very much like Panchajanya conch of Lord Krishna. He is holding a bow, on his shoulder he has a bow which is very much like Sharanga bow. He is holding a gada, very much like Kaumudaki gada. He is holding a padma, and so in this way he's dressed. And on top of that, he's holding a helmet that looks very much like Lord Krishna's helmet, with all the feathers, morpunk and everything. Very intricately, so you can imagine, even in those times, you could get imitation material so easily. That King Paundraka was dressing himself so nicely. He even had a Kaustuba jewel, an imitation Kaustuba jewel that he was wearing on his neck as a necklace. And he even had the whirl of hair that were painted white so as to show Shivatsa. And he was appearing just like Lord Krishna. So, showing that he really believed that he is Vasudeva. And he's an imitation. Everything that he has, all his insignia, all his paraphernalia is an imitation. He is even dressed in gold and yellow silken clothes. Upper garments and lower garments, they are like that. And Lord Krishna, when he sees King Paundraka, he is laughing. He laughs heartily. And he realizes that this king is so bewildered by the material energy, so foolish. His intelligence has been taken away, Maya Pradyana. And he also understands this is because of his association. So Lord Krishna, with his arrows, he destroys the two Akshahini armies who had actually first attacked Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna doesn't attack first. Those two Akshahini armies, they attack Lord Krishna. So that's about 400,000 soldiers attacking Lord Krishna at the same time. Imagine, not 400 soldiers, 400,000. They are, chariot drivers, elephants, horses, horse riders, and then the, soldiers on foot. Everyone is attacking. This torrents of rain of weapons is appearing, and Lord Krishna very easily takes care of all of them with his bow and arrows. And then Lord Krishna also destroys the three Akshahinis that's behind Paundraka. The three Akshahini armies that was brought by the king of Kashi. That's another 600,000, more than 600,000. So over 1 million warriors are laying dead in the battlefield. And Lord Krishna first instructs Paundraka that you should give up this mentality, but Paundraka doesn't understand it. And Paundraka says, Paundraka is saying, you should give me back my paraphernalia that you have taken away. So Lord Krishna says, okay, here comes Sudarshan. So he has given Sudarshan, but actually he sent Sudarshan with a specific task to chop off the head of King Paundraka. And Sudarshan beheads King Paundraka and his head falls off. Even before sending Sudarshan, Lord Krishna destroys his chariot. This is a clear sign to King Paundraka that you are not Vasudeva, you are not Lord Vasudeva. But he does not understand. And then with his arrows, Lord Krishna, he shoots an arrow that takes off, beheads the king of Kashi. And his head is flowing into the city and the main area in the city, near the steps of the palace, in an open area where normally, people greet the king and king welcomes the guests and so forth. That place, his head falls. Now, somebody could ask, why did Lord Krishna, he could have just killed the king of Kashi on the spot. Why did he shoot an arrow that was so accurate that carried the head of the king, just like the wind carries a lotus flower, the fragrance of lotus flower, just like that, it's very accurately, and dropped it right there. Because before starting for the battle, king of Kashi had made a declaration that today I will bring the head of my enemy back with me. So everyone was thinking that our king is so valiant king. Now the moment we talk about Kashi. So this king was a devotee of Lord Shiva. right? And so he again, makes this great announcement, and everyone thinks, and everyone is praying that this happens. And his queens are telling their maidservants with great arrogance and proud voice that my husband today, the king, will be beheading Krishna and he will be bringing his head. So when his head comes and, carried by the arrow, falls in this area near the steps of the palace, everyone is wondering what is this round object that's there. Then suddenly they realize that it has kundala, the earrings are there. So it's someone's head. And so some people are, they become jubilant that our king said that he will bring the head, so he must have chopped off the head of Krishna, and this is what he has thrown in the middle of the city to show how valiant he is. So some bewildered citizens even rejoice seeing that it's a head of someone. But then they want to understand whose head it is. So they're trying to look, and they see that it's none other than Kashi Raja's head, their own king's head. So his head has been thrown by Krishna. Now they are all crying out. The queens are coming, rushing, and they are all crying that we are now killed, we are now destroyed. Oh, our dear king, what has happened to you? So as they are crying out, the son, the eldest son, Sudakshina, of this King Kashi Raj, Kashi is this place, Raj means the king of Kashi. So his son Sudakshina, he wants to avenge his father. He is very angry. How could this happen? Again, another deluded personality. Paundraka, instead, it is not enough. Without really understanding who's on the other side, he is already taking the war. So sometimes this is the mood of a Kshatriya. They take the war without thinking. And this is a great warning for all of us. Because anyway, in Kali age, everyone is born Shudra, Kala Shudra Sambhava. So it's very difficult to find Kshatriyas. That's why His Holiness, His Grace, Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, he says it very nicely, smilingly, that today the soldiers we see, they are freaked out Shudras. They are running around hiding places when Kshatriyas would declare boldly and face their enemies. That's not the mindset today. So here, what's happening is, this son, after performing all the ritualistic rites, he gathered his peace and he worships Lord Shiva. So in Kashi, in Varanasi, everyone is it's also called Lord Shiva's city. So there's a very nice story behind it. Once Devi Parvati, she was staying with Lord Shiva at Kailash Parvat. And at Kailash Parvat, it's cold, right? It's a mountain, ice is there, and generally a lot of ice and snow is there. And he doesn't have a house. Lord Shiva, Lord Mahadev, he is happy, in that, like the days of yore, where there were no palaces, in that kind of setting, in natural setting. Now people are going crazy looking for natural setting. They're going outside the houses, and sometimes the coronavirus cases are spiking. And I have been reading this. They're spiking in India, Russia, so many other places, where people are just getting bewildered and they're going out, risking their lives. So it takes a little intelligence to understand the situation outside. And if you're bewildered, then why are you taking shelter of an environment where you're giving away this gift of this life, the human life, human form of life, so easily? Rather, if you're bewildered, you should surrender more to the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So devotees at this time, especially taking shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, they are going out, then they are going out to the temple to do worship. Otherwise, reading Srimadbhagavatam, hearing so many YouTube channels as well as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Zoom, Shriman Zoom is also helping in spreading Krishna consciousness at this time. So our virtual existence is giving us more fuel to make spiritual progress. So let's look at it from the right perspective. So here, this, in this incident, Goddess Parvati, she requests to Lord Shiva, it would be nice if we lived in a nice city, nice palace and all that setting. So Lord Shiva, just by thinking from his mind, He creates a gigantic, beautiful city with amazing gardens, big palaces. The gateways are, bedecked with rubies, emerald, and sapphire and whatnot. The crystal pillars are all over the city. And so now, when a wonderful city like this has been, presented by Lord Shiva to Goddess Parvati, she says, okay, now that we have this, we should do, just like housewarming, house opening ceremony is being done, we have to do this inauguration, right? So she calls for thousands of brahmanas to come, and, great worship is being performed, and great offering of prasadam is being done. And at the end, you actually offer dakshina to the brahmanas you have invited. So all these brahmanas, they are being given dakshina. So there was this brahman, he says to Goddess Parvati, I would like to have something. She says, whatever it is, ask for it. He says, I would like to have Kashi. She gives the whole city of Kashi to the Brahman. So this is how she got. And then at the end of this, all this offering to the Brahmins, she comes back with Lord Shiva to Kailash Parvat. So this is actually all done by the mystic potency of Lord Shri Krishna, Yogamaya, and to satisfy Lord Shiva that he was missing his Kailash Parvat, his original setting. So this is how Kashi was built, just by the thinking of Lord Mahadev, Lord Shiva. So powerful, so opulent city. It's a glorious city. And here Sudakshina is thinking that he has to avenge his father. Now one of the things is that when a Kshatriya would take such a vow, there is always an injunction given in the Shastras, in Manu Samhita, that one should understand who his enemy is, right? Jarasandha actually followed that principle very well from Manu Samhita. He would always measure the strength of his enemy before he attacked his enemy. And if he sees that his enemy is more powerful than him, he would befriend his enemy. He would make his enemy his friend. So now he would become more powerful. But Sudakshina, he is completely bewildered. He is in emotion. He is thinking at a bodily level. His physical relationship with his father, that his father was killed by someone, so he has to kill that person who killed his father. So in that bewildered state, he's worshipping Lord Mahadev, Lord Shiva. And with great amount of sacrifices and worship of Lord Shiva appears and he says, yes, what do you want? At that time, Sudakshina, he doesn't know who his enemy is. He just says, I want to kill my father's enemy. I want to destroy him. So Lord Mahadev tells him that you should perform this Dakshinagni Yajna, which having performed, and it is a black magic art, right? He's telling him, would destroy one who is not a Brahmana. Now, in scriptures, as Acharyas explain, there are various explanations of this particular hint Rudradev, Lord Shiva, is giving to Sudakshina, that he should not look for such a boon. He's giving a hint that one who is not a Brahmana, or one who is inimical to Brahmana, that person will be destroyed. So he's giving a hint that know your enemy first, because this is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead you're trying to kill. Who are you trying to kill? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. He cannot be killed. You will be destroyed in this effort. But Sudakshina is, even after getting the hint, is not taking it seriously. Rather, he is continuously motivated that yes, I have to perform this Dakshinagni Yajna. So he gathers his priests and he starts performing this black art Yajna. So this Yantra, Tantra and Mantra, these are being performed. It's very interesting that when you perform this black art, so again, even the worship of Lord Krishna and demigods, they are performed with the right hand, right? So that is part of but this black art is performed with the left hand. This is Ashuddha, polluted hand. And it leads to demoniac, personalities, they come out. So it just so happened that after having performed this yajna, from the fire appears this Dakshinagni, this personality. And this personality has the legs as the size of palm tree, it's given. So not today's palm trees. These are midget palm trees. Of Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, those palm trees, you can imagine. Those gigantic form. So this personality has such a gigantic form, and his hair is like molten copper. He's like fire personified. He's like fire is coming out from all his part of his body, all his limbs, and his cinders, they are coming out from his eyes. So he is literally like fire. And so Sudakshina asks him to destroy the enemy of his father, who is Lord Vāsudeva, living in Dwarka. And then all the other hobgoblin ghost of Lord Shiva, he had said that they would go with this Dakshinagni personality. So this fiery personality is heading towards Dwarka. As this personality is heading towards Dwarka, with every step, the earth is shaking. Can you imagine? Again, this demonic personality is attacking Dwarka with every step. So Dwarka Vasis, at a great distance, they could feel the heat. So they all run to Lord Shri Krishna. And it is very interestingly given that they were naturally Krishna conscious. Right? They were self-realized souls. They were not... Sometimes people consider Dwarka Vasis to be materialists because they were spreading rumor, when Satyajit spread rumor that Lord Krishna must have killed my brother Prasena and he took away the jewel, the Dwarka Vasis joined him in that rumor. However, they were being bewildered by Yog Maya. So again, that's also given. So they are naturally surrendered to Lord Krishna, just like Nand Maharaj, when he had gone at Shivratri to, the Shiv temple to worship Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga. At that time, the snake was engulfing Nand Maharaj. And so he cried out instantly, "Oh Krishna, please save me, I am a soul surrendered to you." So these are realized personalities. These are eternal associates and realized personalities who are living in Dwarka also. While a sadhana bhakta, just like us, who are practicing devotees, sadhana is practicing. So practicing devotees, we have to make an effort to remember Krishna. While a self-realized soul remembers Lord Krishna. That's why they are also referred to as Raghatmika, because they are naturally inclined. Well, we are Raganugas. We are the followers. So by practicing, we aspire to become a follower of these Ragatmika devotees who are naturally self-realized. And further, we follow Srila Rupa Goswami's instructions. So we are also referred to as Rupanugas. And since we read and get the instruction from Srila Prabhupada, we are also called Prabhupadanugas. So again, we are followers, not imitators. We are following the instructions. We are reading and studying his scriptures and understanding the purport, which are his transcendental ecstasies. So that's the mode a devotee is, engage in a sadhana bhakti. As per the process, we are following it. And we are also, of course, followers of our spiritual masters. So we are also following the instructions of spiritual master. And one of the instruction a bona fide spiritual master gives is, when you have received such an amazing wealth, you should distribute it. So that is a responsibility of all the devotees to spread this wonderful knowledge that we receive from Srila Prabhupada, who is a preeminent Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness and also founder Acharya. So he is our preeminent Shiksha Guru, instructing spiritual master. So here, they are all the residents of Dwarka, even relatives of Lord Krishna. They all run to Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna in the assembly hall is actually playing a game of dice. So he doesn't want to be disturbed. They are saying that Lord Krishna, this Dakshinagni demon, is like the fiery personality, is coming and he is going to burn whole of Dwarka, including us. The Lord Krishna says, I will protect you. Do not fear. He is busy in this game, right? So this is where it's very interestingly given that Sudarshan was standing right beside Lord Krishna and says, just go and take care of it. So Sudarshan, his chakra form, he goes. And his effulgence grows to 1,000,000 suns, millions of suns. That's the effulgence Sudarshan grows. And when he glows with that capacity, he was not just being perceived very hot by the demon, but he was perceived as a great radiant personality in all of the universe. So when Sudarshan takes that form, as the thousands of spokes, which each spoke radiating like a sun. So that's the effulgence coming out of. And as Lord Krishna, he says that, it actually reminds me of a very nice incident Srila Prabhupada shared, that one of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaja's godbrother, who was a Britisher, Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, he was looking around in India to understand who is God. So before he took to devotional service. And he was going from temple to temple of different demigods. And he was saying that Goddess Durga, she is killing Mahishasur. So of course she is engaged in some activities. So she must be thinking of satisfying someone, right? And Lord Shiva, he is meditating. So he must be meditating on someone. He cannot be God. She cannot be God. So similarly, he is saying from one temple to another. And he was saying that everyone is doing something, killing a demon or performing some kind of activities and so forth. Holding weapons to show that, yes, I'm going to guard you. But there must be a bigger, personality who they are serving. While when he went to Radha Krishna temple, Shishi Radha Krishna's temple, then what does he see? That Lord Krishna is playing on his flute and Radharani is dancing. So it's like, yes, this is God. God doesn't have to do anything. He is just enjoying in his pastime. He is just enjoying in dancing and singing, while everyone else is, taking care of administering all of the affairs so that they can continue to enjoy. So that's the definition of God he got. Similarly, Lord Krishna is engaged in his game of dice. He doesn't want to be disturbed. It's a minor. He knows who has come. So it's a minor effort. He just sends Sudarshan. Sudarshan goes. And now Sudarshan's heat is so thousands of times more stronger that the personality, Dakshinagni, starts freezing because of that heat. He is like fire, but he's freezing because of the excessive heat he's experiencing. So he runs, he turns back. Now one of the things is in the black art, if such a personality comes out and has been given a target and cannot achieve the target, then comes back and destroys the creator. And who's the creator? He comes back to Kashi. And who's the creator? As Dakshinagni enters Kashi, is burning everything on its way. He burns, he destroys Sudakshina and all the priests who were the cause of his creation. And Sudarshan takes care of Dakshinagni. And then Sudarshan starts destroying the whole of Kashi. So, the whole of Kashi has been completely burned and destroyed by Sudarshan Chakra. And then Sudarshan returns to Dwarka and stands right beside Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, he understands that Sudarshan Chakra has taken care of the affair. And all the Dwarkavasis, the residents of Dwarka, are feeling secured and happy. This is where this chapter ends. Now let's look at some of the important lessons. We are not the doer. One of the important aspects is, I wanted to also understand that we devotees also take this at great length in our lives. Because when we perform, when we engage in any kind of seva, service, then there are three aspects to it. There is sevak, us as devotees who are serving. There is seva, the service itself. So we should have the right service attitude to be able to carry out this service. And there is sevaya, this is a lordship, who we are serving. So we are engaging in service of the lordship. Jivera Swarupoya Krishnera Nityadas. So we have to understand that all the abilities have been given to us by Lord Shri Krishna. So everything that we receive is coming from Lord Krishna. So one of the things we should save ourselves is ever from thinking that I am doing this. I am an eternal servant of Lord Shri Krishna. karmane vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. And then Lord Krishna reveals that we are not the cause of this, the fruits that we get. Distress or happiness, that would come. In reality, everything becomes inauspicious if we think that we are the doer. Kartaham iti manyate. Because vimuddhatma, we become foolish, we become bewildered, buddhas, right? So if we think that we are the doer, the only mood a devotee has is of service. So that is the attitude one has to take. Now let's come to the blessing. One is freed from all sins. If one listens to this, so it's clearly stated by Shukdev Goswami that one is freed from all sins, not of all sinful reactions. And that is actually a greater boon to get free from all sins than getting free from all sinful reactions. How is that? In the 6th canto, the 1st chapter, Parikshit Maharaj is raising this question to Shukdev Goswami, that people who are, in the end of 5th chapter, Shukdev Goswami just finished describing all these hellish planets and how in Pauṇḍraka people are they are boiled in oil, in big kumbhas, kumbha, daka. Once again, you can imagine the fiery, hellish place, and how in different hellish places, 8.4 million of them, how living entities are going through various hellish conditions and they are being tormented. So Parikshit Maharaj, being a devotee, of course, is compassionate towards all living entities. He says, how could they be saved? So even Shukdev Goswami tests him. He says that, one can follow the marg of Gyan Yoga. So he says, no, Gyan Yoga won't help, because even though one knows as a thief, he sees that another thief has been caught by the soldiers and is being punished by those soldiers. So that won't help, right? Because one still is impelled to do sinful activities, steal, and can be punished. So how to give up this mentality? Because otherwise it looks like a kunjana snan, right? Elephant's bath. An elephant takes bath, cleans itself very nicely, and then comes out and puts dirt on its body. So that's how it appears like. And Shukdev Goswami had also given that one can take to meditation. Even that won't help. Why? Because there is an example of Vishwamitra. He fell down. And the example of Ajamil also is given right after this, to describe the glories of devotional service, to describe the glories of the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is being described elaborately as a response to how one can give up this mentality to perform sin. Sinful reactions, when you engage in devotional service, there is a Kuta, Bija, Aparakrat and Parakrat. The 4 stages are there for the sinful reaction. Kuta is, if you perform the sinful reaction, first is in a Kuta form, then it becomes a seed. In Kuta form, it is getting the formation, but as a bij, it is ready to be sown, and then it will come out as weeds, as anarthas in our heart. But an aparakrat is where it is unmanifested, but it has sprouted. The seed has sprouted of those sinful reactions. And parakrat is when you are going through distress, when miseries are happening, and you may decide to suffer or not suffer, so that's our choice. So a devotee understands that aparakrat and parakrat cannot be taken care of. But by engaging in devotional service, by Lord's mercy, the Kuta and Bija forms are completely nullified, because the Bijas, they are fried. And Kuta stops in its further progression to become a Bija. And if it does become a Bija, again it is fried. So a fried seed cannot, when sown, would not fructify. So that is a simple solution. Aparakrat and parakrat you cannot stop. However, the biggest challenge is the propensity to not commit sin any further. So one understands and takes this lesson that we are not this material body, and we should not be deluded to think ourselves that we are the doers. Rather understand that Lord Krishna is the doer, we can only be an instrument in his hand. So we have to be an instrument to serve Lord the way He wants. Anukulena Krishna Anushilena. So that is an important aspect. And when we understand and take this lesson and apply it in our life becomes festive. Means again, we feel the ecstasy through the engagement in devotional service, because Lord Krishna is Rishikesha. He is the master of the senses. All our senses are satisfied. And by engagement in devotional service, all the fangs, all these teeth of this snake-like senses, they are broken. So there is no need to be afraid of these senses. So again, people have this tendency, just like Paundraka, to declare themselves as God, and Virat Rup would be a criterion that they have to meet if they can prove. And Paundraka appeared just like Lord Vāsudeva, yet at the same time when it came for the deeds, he failed miserably. Hare Krishna, Gantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Kori Vaishnava ki jai. Please join us for Narasimhadev prayers. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya.
प्रकाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।